In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 college football games happening on September 6, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Kansas State versus Army. The Army Black Knights head into Manhattan looking for redemption after an embarrassing opening loss at home to football championship subdivision Tarleton State. Army was a 2-touchdown favorite in that game and still fell 30-27 in overtime despite racking up 411 yards of offense and 24 first downs. The Black Knights moved the ball well on the ground, totaling 280 rushing yards, but turnovers were their undoing. Quarterback Dwayne Coleman threw 2 interceptions, though he also passed for 129 yards on just 12 attempts and ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. Running back Hayden Reed added 88 yards and another score, but a -3 turnover margin ultimately proved too much to overcome. Kansas State, meanwhile, hasn't exactly looked sharp either. The Wildcats opened with a neutral site loss to Iowa State in Dublin, then barely survived at home against football championship subdivision North Dakota in a 38-35 shootout. While quarterback Avery Johnson delivered an impressive 318 yards and 3 touchdown passes, the defense was gashed for 354 yards and gave up more first downs than it managed to collect. Running back Devin Rice chipped in with 2 short rushing scores, but the Wildcats' inability to get stops consistently has already become a troubling theme just 2 weeks into the season. On paper, Kansas State clearly has more talent and athleticism, especially at the skill positions, yet the results through 2 games don't inspire confidence in laying a heavy number here. The Wildcats are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games as a double-digit favorite, and their defensive lapses make it hard to trust them to put anyone away. Army's Week 1 meltdown creates skepticism, but the Black Knights' option-based attack can chew up clock and frustrate defenses that aren't fully disciplined. If they clean up turnovers and execute with their usual precision, Army has the tools to hang around. As our first pick for this matchup, the Army Black Knights to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. As for the total, Army's blueprint is clear: slow the game down, limit possessions, and keep Avery Johnson and Kansas State's passing attack on the sidelines. The Black Knights must lean on their run game and ball control, which shortens contests and keeps the score manageable. If this turns into a shootout, they'll be in trouble quickly, but that's not how Jeff Monken's program operates. Expect a more disciplined performance after last week's collapse, with fewer turnovers and more emphasis on grinding drives. Kansas State's offense will have moments, but Army's run-heavy approach will shrink the number of drives in this game. Combined with Kansas State's inconsistency, the ingredients point to a lower-scoring affair than many expect. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Michigan versus Oklahoma. We get one of the marquee matchups of the weekend when number 15 Michigan heads into Norman to take on number 18 Oklahoma in a clash that should have early season playoff implications. Both programs enter with high expectations, but the setup of this game feels more advantageous for the Sooners, who return home after a tune-up opener and now get a chance to make a statement against a Big Ten heavyweight. The key storyline here revolves around Michigan's quarterback situation. Freshman Bryce Underwood has all the tools to eventually become a star, but asking him to deliver in his first road test against a top 20 opponent is a tall order. Underwood is talented, but young quarterbacks in hostile environments often make mistakes, and the Sooners' defense has the kind of front that can apply real pressure. Oklahoma looked sharp in its opener against Illinois State, limiting the Redbirds to just 151 total yards and consistently collapsing the pocket. Combine that with an energized home crowd under the lights in Norman, and the stage is set for a difficult night for the freshman signal caller. Oklahoma Oklahoma, meanwhile, wasn't flashy in its opener, but the Sooners still have a lot to like on both sides of the ball. Their defense looks physical and disciplined, coming off a 2024 season where they ranked 27th nationally in scoring defense. Their defensive line graded 9th overall by PFF entering this year, making them one of the better units in the country. Offensively, it's a work in progress, but there's more stability with experienced playmakers and a home setting that should help them settle in. Given Michigan's uncertainty at quarterback and Oklahoma's defensive strength, this feels like the type of matchup where the Sooners grind out a win by a comfortable margin. As our first pick for this matchup, the Oklahoma Sooners to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The total sets up differently. Michigan still boasts a top-tier defense, one of the most reliable traits of the program even through coaching changes. Last season, they finished 17th nationally, allowing just 20 points per game, and PFF ranked their defensive line 6th heading into 2025. That dominance up front should keep Oklahoma's offense from breaking free for consistent explosive plays. On the flip side, Oklahoma's defense is every bit as capable of disrupting Michigan's young quarterback, forcing punts, and limiting red zone success. With two strong defensive lines and a true freshman quarterback on the road, this matchup has all the makings of a slugfest rather than a shootout. Even if Oklahoma controls the game, expect it to be through methodical drives and a few timely turnovers, not by lighting up the scoreboard. Points will come at a premium, and the under aligns well with the strengths of both rosters. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Boston College versus Michigan State. Week 2 brings us an intriguing non-conference clash between two power conference programs as the Boston College Eagles travel to East Lansing to face the Michigan State Spartans. Both teams enter at 1-0, but the perception and momentum surrounding them are very different. Boston College looked sharp in its opener, steamrolling Fordham 66-10 in a game where the Eagles displayed balance on both sides of the ball. Quarterback play was efficient, the run game rolled, and the defense suffocated Fordham's attempts to find rhythm. Even though it came against an football championship subdivision opponent, the confidence gained from a dominant win like that is important for a team looking to prove it can compete with bigger name opponents. The Eagles have also been strong against the spread, going 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 dating back to 2024. Michigan State, meanwhile, continues to fight through a rebuild. The Spartans took care of business against Western Michigan, but the 23-6 victory was far from convincing. The offense sputtered at times, failing to consistently finish drives, and the team looked like it was going through the motions against a Mid-American Conference opponent it should have dominated. More concerning for bettors, Michigan State has now dropped 7 straight against the number dating back to last season. Until they show an ability to win convincingly against Power 4 competition, it's hard to justify backing them as favorites, even at home. Boston College, with its offensive balance and sharper form, looks like the team more prepared to handle this matchup. Michigan State may be favored due to name recognition and home field advantage, but the Eagles' ability to score in multiple ways and the Spartans' ongoing struggles against the spread tilt this matchup toward the underdog. As our first pick for this matchup, the Boston College Eagles to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Turning to the total, the case leans toward the under. While Boston College's opener against Fordham shot over the number, much of that was the Eagles doing all the heavy lifting offensively. Against a tougher defensive front, they won't have nearly the same free rein. Michigan State, for its part, has leaned heavily on defense, holding Western Michigan to just 6 points while pitching a near shutout. Their problem remains scoring consistently, which makes it difficult for their games to push totals higher. Both defenses look sturdy at this early point in the season, and neither offense is built to light up a scoreboard against competent opposition. The Spartans' conservative offensive style and the Eagles' ability to control tempo should combine to limit explosive plays. Expect a grinded-out battle where field position and red zone execution matter more than highlight plays. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Mississippi State versus Arizona State. We get one of the stranger lines of Week 2 when Arizona State heads into Starkville to face Mississippi State. On paper, this looks like a mismatch. The Sun Devils are fresh off a college football playoff appearance, a Big 12 title, and they opened their 2025 campaign with a business-like demolition of an football championship subdivision opponent. Kenny Dillingham has this program humming, and there's no shortage of analysts who believe Arizona State might be the best team in the Big 12 again this year. Mississippi State, meanwhile, was the doormat of the Southeastern Southeastern Conference in 2024. They stumbled through the year, suffered an outright home loss to Toledo, and finished as the league's basement team. Their 2025 opener didn't inspire much confidence either. A 17-point win over Southern Miss as a 14-point favorite. Hardly dominant, hardly reassuring. That's what makes this line so curious. Why would oddsmakers give the Bulldogs this much respect against a top 10 opponent? That's where the handicap gets interesting. When a number doesn't make sense, it often tells you something. If Mississippi State is catching only a converted touchdown against a college football playoff caliber team, the market is telling you to expect chaos. The Bulldogs, while underwhelming last year, are not the same team in 2025. They've patched some holes on defense, the offensive line is healthier, and they're back at Davis-Wade Stadium with a chance to prove they can hang with the big boys. If this game stays within one score, the outright upset is very much on the table. As our first pick for this matchup, the Mississippi State Bulldogs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. As for the total, these teams met last year and combined for 53 points, falling short of a 58-point line. Both offenses had soft landings in Week 1 against lesser opposition, but neither fully exploded on the scoreboard. That raises questions about how they'll handle better defensive resistance, and both sides are built to offer exactly that. Arizona State's defensive front remains one of the best in the Big 12, while Mississippi State's defense, though leaky in 2024, has upgraded its secondary and should benefit from the home crowd's energy. Factor in the environment, Davis-Wade at night, a charged-up Southeastern Conference atmosphere, and mid-September heat hovering around 80 degrees, and it sets up for a slower-paced, grinded-out kind of contest. Explosive plays will be harder to come by, drives will stall in the red zone, and both sides are likely to lean on their run games more than usual. That points squarely toward a game that stays under the number. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Vanderbilt versus Virginia Tech. The Vanderbilt Commodores head into Blacksburg for a primetime clash with Virginia Tech, looking to repeat last year's upset that turned heads around the college football world. That 2024 meeting was the game that put quarterback Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt's spread option attack on the national radar, as the Commodores stunned the Hokies and used it as a springboard to respectability. This time around, however, they won't sneak up on anyone. A road trip into Lane Stadium under the lights, with Enter Sandman echoing across Blacksburg, is a very different kind of assignment. Vandy took care of business in their opener, routing Charleston Southern with ease. Every phase looked sharp, from Pavia's command of the offense to the defense flying around and making stops. Still, the Southeastern Conference grind is a different animal, and the Commodores will face a much more physical and disciplined opponent this week. Virginia Tech, for its part, opened with a tough test at South Carolina, falling 24-11. That score doesn't tell the whole story. The Hokies were in the game for much of the night but couldn't finish drives, an issue they'll need to fix quickly. These two teams share a lot of similarities. Both rely heavily on their veteran quarterbacks, both rebuilt extensively through the transfer portal, and both enter 2025 with plenty of questions still to be answered. Pavia's dual threat ability makes Vanderbilt dangerous, but by the end of last season, Southeastern Conference defenses had started to figure out how to slow down his option looks and force the Commodores into tougher passing situations. Virginia Tech counters with Kyron Drones, a dynamic but volatile quarterback who can make highlight plays but is prone to turnovers and injuries. He has a strong receiving corps, and with a new offensive coordinator emphasizing pace and vertical passing, the Hokies should look much sharper in Week 2 than they did in their opener. The home field edge at Lane Stadium looms large. Virginia Tech has the atmosphere, the defense, and the offensive weapons to exact revenge for last year's upset. While Vanderbilt is feisty and won't back down, the Hokies' ceiling feels higher once their offense finds rhythm, and the energy of a Saturday night crowd should help tilt this one their way. As our first pick for this matchup, the Virginia Tech Hokies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Looking at the total, last year's meeting produced 61 points, sailing over a modest 49-point line. Both defenses have shown flashes, but each team has enough offensive playmakers to turn this into another back-and-forth affair. Vanderbilt's Pavia is seasoned, rarely makes major mistakes, and can punish defenses with his legs as much as his arm. That dual threat ability opens up opportunities for his skill players, forcing defenses to stay honest. Virginia Tech, meanwhile, may have stumbled in the red zone last week, but they consistently moved the ball and created opportunities. A week of adjustments, combined with drones' arm strength and mobility, should lead to better efficiency and more touchdowns instead of stalled drives. Both teams are capable of explosive plays, and while each defense can generate stops, the flow of this game suggests points will come in bunches again. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.